3 years ago, during our first shipyard time, we made a very scary discovery deep down in the hold of our ship. We found out that some of our frames are severely corroded.
Whoa! That's our frames!
I know.
Fixing them is quite a large project on its own, and we needed to come up with a good plan on how to fix the structure and make the ship seaworthy again. And now the time has finally come to approach this huge chapter and make massive progress in the refit of Flying Coney.
Hello, it's so good to see you again. I'm Barbara, and together with my husband Daniel, I restore the historic sailing ship Flying Coney. In this episode, we bring Flying Coney to the shipyard and finally start the frame repair by removing a massive amount of concrete. And the big question is, what will you find underneath it? Good steel, rust, or seawater?
So now the time has come that we can approach the next big step in this project, which is repairing the structure of the boat, like the frames and the stringers and the bulkheads and all that. The way how we will do it is we will move the boat to a shipyard that is specialized in wooden boats, which is a bit funny, but they can handle a boat of our size, and they will do the yard logistics. So today we will move from this place here, from Lair, where we spent the winter, to Bultje, which is about 2 hours away by boat.
So finally the time has come that we are approaching the last big necessary repair on this boat, and that is the frame repair. Here in the former cargo hold of the ship there was still the insulation in place, and the insulation over the time has eaten away the steel from the frames. There was a lot of rust and some of them are really severely corroded. 3 years earlier. To restore the hull of our beautiful ship, we needed to strip the inside of the hull from all the interior and the insulation. During this process, we accidentally also removed some frames.
Whoa! That's our frames!
I know.
And found that of about 85 frames, 14 are almost gone and need to be exchanged. And 10 more in the forecastle need some smaller repairs. Not great, but not the end of the world. And luckily on a steel ship, almost everything can be repaired with an angle grinder and a welder. We believe that the frames underneath of the concrete is fine, but we do have to remove a part of the concrete, the part that is pulled up here, in order to reconnect new frames with the existing frames.
Everything went fine. Now we're waiting for the bridge to open so that we can go through. So we will shortly approach the harbor in Dietsum, which is very, very exciting because it's the first time for us that we moor up in a tidal harbor. And when I say tidal, I mean at low tide there is no water at all, and at high tide it's more than 3 meters. We arrive exactly at high tide so that we don't have to deal with current and all that. But still, it's very exciting and looking forward to moor up there.
So one interesting thing about the history of the ship is that it was originally built as a wooden boat, so there were wooden planks on top of steel frames. So in fact the frames are slightly older than the hull. We believe the boat was built in 1941 as a warship. So these are from a wooden boat where then the steel plates were riveted onto. The problem, especially in the cargo hold, was that there was corrosion on the frames on both sides. So we lost about 2-3 millimeters of steel on each side, and there's not much left anymore. So we do have to replace almost every frame here in the cargo hold. The worst area is where the concrete starts, because all the condensation and moisture run down the hull, and it stopped here and it has eaten away and notched away the frames here. And our strategy is to first remove a part of the concrete and then to make patterns, cut new frames out of fresh steel. Of course, we do have many upcoming projects like the interior build and building the systems in the boat, but this frame repair here is the last repair that is really necessary to have a fully operational ship again, that we can take the boat out on the open water, something I'm really looking forward to. So it is a scary step, but I can't wait to get the hammer started, so let's do it. The scary thing is we've decided to do this removal of the concrete while the boat is in the water. Well, it is a tidal harbor, so in theory we do have a little bit more time in case we're punching through the hull. But being in the water saves a lot of cost, because it's way cheaper to move the boat up in front of the shipyard instead of hauling it out on the hard. And also the shipyard is far more relaxed if the boat is in the water. They do have slipways available, so in case we're punching through, we can haul out, and then we do have to do the rest of the work while the boat is on the hard. And we've talked with multiple shipyards, and they all have the opinion it's even easier to remove the concrete because the hull is less bouncing, so it should make work a little bit easier.
Last year, when Daniel and I got married, we received a lot of thoughtful gifts from our friends and family. But one of the most special ones came from my cousin Marcus and his partner Valentina. They offered us their time and help for the restoration of Flying Coney. At the moment, they're restoring a house themselves, and they gained a lot of experience working with concrete, both building it up and tearing it down. So when it was time to remove the concrete on our ship, we knew exactly who to call. Not only did they agree to help, they even bought an entire arsenal of tools. Suddenly we had a full selection of jackhammers and chisels to choose from, making it a lot easier to find the perfect tool for the job.
So we've just started removing the concrete on the starboard side and it's working out pretty well. The concrete is pretty hard, so it's not easy to break it apart, but it's coming off of the steel quite nicely. And also the condition of the steel underneath the concrete is pretty well. Yeah, it should be not too difficult to remove all the concrete and continue on the port side. Since we're making so much progress, there is quite a lot of concrete now in the buckets and we have to bring it on deck. That's kind of the annoying nature of a boat project. You always have to bring things up and down again. So the way how a riveted steel fishing vessel is ballasted is that they throw every bit of scrap metal that there is because of building the boat inside of the hull. Then they pour concrete on top of the scrap metal to get a level cargo room floor. And what's unique in this ship is that they not only have the level concrete floor, but they also poured some of the concrete in between of the frames to make cleaning easier, and it just has transferred the problem from here to here. We do hope it makes it easier to remove the concrete because we do just have to remove the section here that is not level, and we hope we can leave the level ballast in place.
All I want in this whole life, a little red house in a country wife, a picnic table out on the lawn, a couple of kids and a couple of dogs. Work all day to 5:30, chain link fence and a gravel drive. The wind chime ringing on my front porch, a brand new carpet on every floor, and a rope swing tied around a limb of a tall oak tree. It don't sound like much, but it sure is heaven to me. A big bathtub in my bedroom, microwave, dishwasher too. The folks say hi when they pass on the street. A clean pair of socks every day of the week. A big soft chair for when I'm old. Tackle box and a fishing pole. I don't care about the fortune or fame. I just don't wanna know my mailman's name. At Christmas time, I'm gonna leave him a gingerbread cookie. No, it don't sound like much, but it sure is heaven to me.
So usually concrete in a steel boat is a good thing because concrete kind of preserves the steel, and we do have the hull thickness measurements, and underneath of the concrete the measurements are slightly better than above it. So we are confident that the steel underneath of the concrete is in good condition, but there is a problematic area, and this problematic area is just where the concrete starts because all the condensation and moisture runs down the hull and it stops where the concrete starts, and there is slightly more corrosion, and you can clearly see that here where the frames start, and that's the main part that we need to repair, but also we are repairing the frames that are slightly too thin. So we're done with one side of the cargo hold, which was a lot of work. And so far we're making a lot of progress, and it does feel really good to get rid of the concrete. It's a pretty hard concrete, so it's very difficult to remove it, but it separates nicely from the steel, which is good. And most important thing is that the steel underneath of the concrete is in great condition. So as long as the frames are buried underneath of the concrete, they're solid and thick, and they are original strengths. So it should be very easy to reconnect the frames with the frames above the concrete, which we do want to replace.
And that's all we have time for today. The first section of concrete is gone, and so far everything underneath it looks really promising. We honestly couldn't have done it without the incredible help of Markus and Valentina. So a huge thanks to both of you for your time, energy and all those amazing tools. And of course, a heartfelt thank you to all our wonderful Patreons for your continued support. Next time we will keep chipping away on the concrete, and we will also take advantage of the good weather and make some progress on the wheelhouse. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.